Today's video is brought to you by the Lord of the Rings mechanical keyboards by Drop. They've got keyboards in both Elvish and Dwarvish, so stick around after the video to find out how you can rock the coolest keyboards in Middle-earth. It would be one of the most precious metals in all Middle-earth. While commonly associated with the dwarves of Khazad-dûm and known for its rarity, it would also be found in both Valinor and Numenor, and be used in one of the most famous ships, heirlooms of Earendil, and even in an elven ring of power. Today on Nerd of the Rings, we cover the history of Mithril. The earliest known instance of Mithril comes not from the depths of Khazad-dûm, but in the twilight of the First Age. For in the Song of Earendil, we learn that when Elrond's father goes to Valinor to plead for the Valar to intervene in the struggle against Morgoth, his ship, Vingilot, is said to have been made of Mithril and elven glass. His ship would be blessed by the Valar, and alongside the great eagles, Earendil would fight the winged dragons of Morgoth in the War of Wrath and kill the greatest of their kind, Ancalagon the Black. Of course, the most well-known location of Mithril lies in the depths of the Misty Mountains, in the dwarf kingdom of Khazad-dûm. It is found by the dwarves in lodes leading north from Moria toward Caradhras and down into the darkness. The discovery of this precious metal brings great wealth to the dwarves of Khazad-dûm, but they were not the only peoples to be interested in Mithril. It is because of the discovery of this metal, also known as Moria silver or true silver, that some of the Noldor settle near the Misty Mountains. They establish the realm of Eregion, and their lord Celebrimbor leads the Gwaith y Myrdain, the greatest elven smiths of the Second Age. These Noldor were not only great craftsmen, but they were far less unfriendly toward the dwarves than the Sindarin elves. Thus, the friendship that grows between Durin's folk and the elves of Eregion was the closest that would ever be between the two races. Mithril, which is the elven name for the metal, is a combination of the words meaning gray and brilliance. During this time, Mithril is used in creating one of the most powerful objects of the age, an elven ring of power. It is Nenya, the ring set with a stone of adamant, which is made of Mithril. This ring, the Ring of Water, would be given by Celebrimbor to Galadriel for safekeeping, and she would keep it all her remaining days until bearing it away to the uttermost west at the end of the Third Age. The elves of Eregion would obtain Mithril through trade with the dwarves and craft their own objects made of the metal. Celebrimbor would also create a new alloy from the metal, Ithildin. Ithildin is visible only by starlight or moonlight, and would be inlaid on the doors of Durin, which are crafted by Celebrimbor and the dwarf smith Narvi. Ithildin is also believed to be used in the creation of moon letters or moon runes, an example of which is on Thror's map of the Lonely Mountain, which Elrond discovers when Thorin's company rests in Rivendell. It is not only dwarves and elves who would come to covet and use Mithril though, for we know the 15th king of Numenor, Tar Telemaite, loved silver and constantly had his servants searching for Mithril. His name even translates to silver-handed. After the fall of Numenor, and at the same time the removal of Aman from the physical world in 3319, Moria becomes the only source of Mithril in the world. During this time, it becomes worth 10 times its weight in gold. It's possible this increase in value is part of what drives the dwarves of Khazad-dûm to delve even deeper in their pursuit of Mithril. For 2,000 years after the fall of Numenor, the dwarves would harvest their precious metal, until finally, in 1980 of the Third Age, their mining awakens a Balrog, a demon of shadow and flame. As Gandalf says when the Fellowship crosses Moria, "The wealth of Moria was not in gold and jewels, the toys of the dwarves, nor in iron their servant. Such things they found here, it is true, especially iron,
but they did not need to delve for them. All things they desired they could obtain in traffic, for here alone in the world was found Moria silver, or true silver as some have called it. Mithril is the Elvish name. The dwarves have a name which they do not tell. It is worth 10 times that of gold, and now it is beyond price, for little is left above ground, and even the orcs dare not delve here for it. The dwarves tell no tale, but even as Mithril was the foundation of their wealth, so also was it their destruction. They delved too greedily and too deep, and disturbed that from which they fled. Durin's Bane.
The Balrog kills King Durin VI, earning its nickname among the dwarves, and despite their efforts to fight against it, the power of the Balrog is too great, and the following year they are forced to flee their home. With the mining of Mithril ended, the metal becomes priceless in Middle-earth, and though orcs and other foul creatures would be sent by Sauron to inhabit Moria, they dared not delve for the metal out of fear of the Balrog. Whatever Mithril was left in Khazad-dûm that had already been mined by the dwarves, the orcs gave as tribute to Sauron, who coveted the metal. What Sauron did with the Mithril, whether used in construction, weaponry, or crafts, no tale tells. While Balin's expedition would successfully recolonize Moria in 2989, and they would apparently mine gold and also find Mithril, it would be short-lived. They would suffer repeated attacks by the orcs, and after just 5 years, Balin would be slain, and the entire dwarf colony destroyed by the orcs. The scattered objects in Middle-earth made of Mithril become incredibly valuable. As we know, Thorin would give a shirt of Mithril to Bilbo Baggins during the quest of Erebor, and Bilbo, unaware of its true value, would lend it to the Matham House Museum in the Shire capital of Mickle Delving. However, he would take it back before leaving for Rivendell, where he would in turn give it to Frodo for his own quest. It is during their journey through Moria that Gandalf reveals it is worth greater than the entire land of the Shire and everything in it. Of course, it is also Frodo's shirt, which shows the metal's seemingly supernatural ability. Thanks to the shirt, Frodo survives both a spear of an orc in the mines and the strike of an arrow while on the river Anduin. Many months later, after the shirt was taken by the orcs and presented as a token by the mouth of Sauron to Gandalf, it would be returned to Frodo and save his life once more. After the hobbits reclaim the Shire in the Battle of Bywater, Saruman attempts to stab him, and the blade is turned aside by the Mithril shirt. While the most famous, Frodo's shirt is not the only Mithril item to appear in The Lord of the Rings. We also learn that the heirloom known as the Elendilmere was made with white gems and Mithril. While it did indeed pass through the line of the Numenorian lords of Andúnië, including Earendil, the father of Isildur, it originally belonged to Silmarien, the daughter of Tar Elendil, the fourth king of Numenor. After the fall of Numenor, it would come to be associated with the line of Earendil, and is known as the Star of the North, for Earendil founded the realm of Arnor in the north of Middle-earth. After Isildur's death in the disaster of the Gladden Fields, the Elendilmere is lost for many centuries, so the elven smiths of Rivendell made a second Elendilmere, also made of Mithril, for Isildur's son Valendil. This Elendilmere would be passed through the generations, all the way to Aragorn, and during his reign the first Elendilmere would be found while searching Orthanc. It turns out that Saruman's servants had discovered the remains of Isildur while searching the Anduin for the One Ring. In Minas Tirith, the helmets of the guards of the Citadel displayed the former splendor of Gondor in the use of their Mithril. The guards of the gate were robed in black, and their helms were of strange shape, high-crowned, with long cheek guards close-fitting to the face. And above the cheek guards were set the white wings of seabirds, but the helms gleamed with a flame of silver, for they were indeed wrought of Mithril, heirlooms from the glory of old days. Mithril would also be used by Arwen in making the banner which Aragorn would unfurl during the War of the Ring. It was the standard of Earendil, and featured a crown wrought of gold and Mithril. The final recorded act of using Mithril would fittingly be by a dwarf of Durin's folk. After the War of the Ring, Gimli becomes the Lord of the Glittering Caves, the caverns behind the fortress of Helm's Deep. His colony of dwarves, alongside elves led by Legolas, would help Aragorn in the restoration of Minas Tirith. For their part, the dwarves reconstruct the Great Gate of Minas Tirith, which had been destroyed by the Witch King. In its place, they create gates of Mithril and steel, restoring the strength of the city's defenses. Now, if you want to delve deeper into your own love of the dwarves, check out the Lord of the Rings mechanical keyboard from Drop. And if you're more the Elven type, they've got you covered there too. I've been using my Khazad-dûm keyboard for a couple weeks now, and the quality is great. And it's certainly a fun addition to make the Nerd Cave just a bit nerdier. So check out these Lord of the Rings keyboards at the link in the description. As always, I want to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters who make this channel possible. Tom DeBombadil 19, Listen Me the Cinda, Celebrimbor, The Mighty Mim, Team Weasel, Rabbi Rob Thomas, Charles Leisure, Toby Mob's Music, Sky Carcass, Slide Belts, Dane Ragnarsson, Salim Rahman, Zetrock, Berto Berg, Grand Strategy Nerd, Graham Darracott, The Dark-Haired One, Wyland, Michael Wu, and Debbie. If you enjoyed the artwork in this video, check out the artists in the description and purchase prints of their great work for yourself. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing, and we'll see you next time on Nerd of the Rings.